I'm literally just going to go over and backtest, e.g. with the strategy that I'm going to backtest here is going to be internal range to external range, okay? And then we're going to go with daily because we're only going to do daily. So we're going to look for daily internal, and we're going to go to the 1 hour and look for a liquidity sweep. So that can be, we could go sessions dash previous day, okay? And then from there, we're going to go, once we do that, we're going to have a 1 hour engulfing candle. Bit different to normal, but we're just testing something out. And we're going to also enter off the open on new 1 hour, okay? So again, it's a little bit different. We're not dropping down anymore to the lower time frames for this backtesting session. And then obviously daily external range target, okay? Simple. What we're trying to do is literally try not to put too much emphasis on actually going down to lower time frames and missing trades, and because I'm putting myself off. So what I'm going to do is try and do this stuff up here and go from there with that and try to actually just get in and out of trades. We may be in them longer. I don't really know. That's part of the backtesting. So we're going to go with this, okay? So if we just lock that up there, let's actually we don't want to do that because that will keep it there, won't it? Right, okay, so we know what we're doing, so we're going to delete that because I just don't want it on the chart. Right, so as you can see here, again, I'm literally going to fly through these and try and get as much done in about an hour as I can. So what I might do for this one, I'll show the levels, and going forward, I probably won't show all the levels. Okay, so we put this going below, jump to the 1 hour. Now, in hindsight, I know how this first trade plays out, just to put that out there. Obviously, it's all for me anyway, so I'm not too bothered. But yeah, I just really wanted to show it again because it's a real nice trade. So we have this daily level, okay, which we can see is printed out here, and we're going into Wednesday, okay. So going into Wednesday, what are we looking for? We want to see price come into this level, okay. And obviously, until it does that, we're not looking to trade, okay. So you've got Asia prints out, goes higher. You can see Wednesday in London session. There's nothing for us. We're waiting for this level, and until that happens, we just don't trade. And in real time, we just wouldn't be at the charts. It's nowhere near. You'd wait for an alert to go off, okay? So we'd have your alert set here. You see this absolute massive move in New York PM, okay? It comes down, tags the level. Now, because it's tagged a daily level, it doesn't mean we're ready, okay? So what we would do then, obviously, look at the time. It's in New York PM. I wouldn't be trading this session. It's too late in London anyway, like in England. So I would then wait until we go into London session on the next day. We've now tagged the daily level, and I'll wait for a liquidity sweep. As I shown is the next move. We've got the daily internals tagged, so we can jump down to the 1 hour, which we're on. Obviously, you can see here we tagged in to the daily level. So going into Wednesday, we're looking for a bullish move to target up this high. We can put that high on here. Let's just quickly check what that high is. Oh, let's check it. So the high is 857595. 85. 86620. I don't know where that other thing came from, but yeah. Okay, so we know that that's the level. Just quickly get it in so it's correct. Okay, so we already know that's our external range. We have internal range has been tagged, and now we're just literally waiting for a 1 hour confirmation that our bias is indeed to go long. Okay, and obviously we need to be in session. Time has to align with everything. So we are just going to play price out until we get to London session. And like I said, this specific trade, I know how it plays out. Going forward in the rest of this video backtesting, it will be live, and obviously I don't know what's going to happen. But this one, I can explain it. For the first one in the video, I can explain exactly what I want to do, and then see how many in an hour I can get, and then go from there. So obviously we come Asia session, and then this is the last hour. We got London sessions opens, takes out Asia low, tags back into that daily level, and we also have, and this is where this is important. Now I know looking at the pictures, I'm really not too sure what an engulfing candle actually is, to be honest. I know listening to that JCap video, he actually mentioned it takes both sides. So what I'm going to go ahead and do for now, I would assume that it needs to close back in, but this example does go on to win, and I'm going to make a note of that as well. So we're just going to say we take both sides of the previous candle on the 1 hour, okay? So in my notes, I'll have that as taking both sides of the previous 1 hour. And what we have done as well, and this is the key here, and this is one of the key notes that I need to also put into the journal, is we have a liquidity sweep. And now we've had a liquidity sweep inside this daily level, okay? And again, reverting back to what I just watched on the Jade Cap video, price has swept this swing point inside the level and closed back above. So now that there is enough, according to him, along with this engulfing candle. I know an engulfing might mean it has to go inside. I'm not too sure on that, but let's just say this is an engulfing candle, or what we're going to now call as an engulfing candle when it takes both sides. Entry of the new 1 hour. Okay, so you can see actually the timing on that is 3 a.m. We know that's sort of golden hour of London, and we can pull it for a 2R, which is here, which is what I would normally trade in my normal strategy when I go to the lower time frames. Okay, so we can just put liquidity target. We know that's 2R, so we can put 2R. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, based on what I've trying to learn and what I'm going forward to study here, is I'm going to pull this all the way up to the daily external, which is up here. Now, yes, we know that move's going to take a while, and that's fine because we're trying to limit the fact that we're going to be on the lower time frames. Okay, so as I said, I know how this trade plays out. First hour moves exactly how you would like it to. 2R gets tagged within an hour and a bit. Then price continues to run up during New York. Nearly takes out, it does take out a level, it takes out this level. Okay, you could have had it there, which is unbelievable risk to reward. Obviously, if you didn't, you come into the PM session and then Asia, and then it takes out the level. Okay, so you did in fact have a daily internal to external move. Okay, and that's key for me because what I want to do is just try and literally get as much data as I can based on how accurate this is, because I seem to have really good higher time frame levels. My entries seem to let me down, and that's what ends up killing me in the long run. So I'm just going to literally go through, and every time we have a daily internal text, I'm going to execute with that exact same criteria that I just mentioned. Okay, so you can see that that one plays out really, really nicely. Yeah, just absolutely pinged, to be honest. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to continue now, and obviously it's going to be less of an explanation because I'm doing it as we speak. So yeah, let me just pull this back so we can actually take a screenshot for my journal. And what I want to do as well is, and I'll show this. So obviously we're going to have this here. It's literally going to be this simple. We know we got the daily level, so we don't even need. Well, actually, what we can do is still take a picture of the daily level. We'll do that going forward. Then we'll take a picture of the daily level, okay? What I'm going to do is obviously have 2R here, which gets, we know that that's perfect because that's what I normally would trade, and I don't know how comfortable I'm going to be going forward on live accounts with trying to target that amount of external range. And I'm going to note it here and see how many we can get done and how much the profit is and the difference. And then dependent on that will depend on how, if I change up the strategy, especially for the targets, okay? So let's clear this all off because it doesn't need to be on there. Okay, we've now had the move, it's done. We can go back up to the daily time frame and start looking for our next level to trade. Okay, so obviously we're on a daily now. We don't know how many days are going to be in between all this because I genuinely don't know. Okay, and as you see, there is a lot, but as I've said, we won't just be trading one pair in like when we're going forward. So that's not how it would work. I don't just trade one pair, so I'll trade every single forex pair. With backtesting, you can't go through all of them like you would live. Okay. Now, I'm not really sure here because this is like a inefficiency itself. It's not a fair value gap, so I'm probably going to just leave it for the sake of this backtesting, and just wait for specific daily internal to external. And yes, obviously, if you look at it, we're swinging through the days. We're in May now. But as I said, there would have been many pairs we wouldn't be trading like that. We'd trade every single pair. Right, okay, so now we got our first move. We are now on potentially Thursday, the 12th of June. Again, don't worry so much about the dates because obviously we can do this on multiple pairs. We're going to do it on multiple pairs if the results are good on this pair alone. Okay, so we got daily level, daily fair value gap. Let's just put that there, interval below. So now on the 1 hour, we would just be, oh, why is that not visible? Okay, on the 1 hour now, we are literally just waiting for a good session time and a tag into that level on the 1 hour chart. So what are we on? We're on Wednesday again, which is nice. We're again at that same sort of time. So we're going to spin into next London session, see what happens here. We do need to see a tag of the daily level before anything. We cannot trade to go internal to external until that happens. What I'm going to do though is jump back up to the daily to make sure there's not a new daily level that's printed. Okay, which there is. We have one up here as well. Okay, that's because price is extremely bullish. This does somewhat play around with obviously how you trade because you could wait for price to pull back right deep in the premium discount, or you could just take entry off of it. We literally, this is what we're backtesting for, to find the data out on that. What's better? Would you miss the trade? Would it be valid still? Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of things that you need to look at when you're backtesting and make notes of. And that is what we're going to do. Right, so there you go. We've got that. If we come up here, obviously we've got multiple levels drawn out, but we're going to try and focus on this one just because why not? We're at Thursday, so we're going into Friday now. We have the Asia level going into London. Ideally, we wanted to see a move down, which we're now getting. With it being a Friday, this could be risky, but again, we need to actually test it. Right, so that level's actually tagged. What I want to do is, I'm not sure at what level that I'm going to end up seeing the result if I go to the daily, which is a bit crap. So let me pull this back because I don't really want to know, if that makes sense. I'd rather just, let's just pull this back to here for now. We can always go back and do that again. I just want to see what level that daily level is. What time did I flick too far forward? And yeah. New candle's going to open at 5. Yeah, so that would be there. Just get that one up. Right, okay. So, yeah, so we got that daily level here, which gets drawn out. Which is what we know. That's what we've actually got drawn out. And then we got previous days. We're going to mark these up now because we'll put the previous day's target, previous day's high. And then the external range of this move would be this high because it's the fair value gaps high, which makes sense to me, which is what's important because this is all based on my sort of trading. 5459. 5459. Okay, so that's the high, and that's your actual external range. So now we have them levels drawn on. We can quickly go back up into the London session, which we know tags in. Well, not London, it's actually New York that tags in. Oh, for God's sakes, we've gone too far. Yep, so then we've tagged into New York, and we haven't taken both sides of the candle, which isn't the engulfing candle that we was trying to study. It's kind of Yeah, kind of confuses me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. We have swept, and I mean now you could go down, but that kind of defeats the object of what I'm doing. Let's take it based on it swept and closed above. Obviously, with my knowledge of trading, I would expect the next candle to go higher anyways. And we'll still target that low as the stop. Obviously, here you can get a nice 1 to 3 there. It's being a Friday as well. I'm going to push this forward and manage it exactly how I would if I was going to trade this, okay? So let's just slow it down a tad. We have 2R here, okay? Let's do liquidity target 2R. It is a Friday, so I'm going to take that into mind when I'm taking my results. And I'll target this high here at 3.49, okay? And then external range, I'm not sure it would make it all the way being New York AM on a Friday, but let's have a look, okay? So price tags in, moves up, stagnant a little bit, doesn't quite hit 2R, comes back to the level, comes back down. We're now in the PM session, and this is what I mean about it being Friday. We need to start being a little bit careful here. Obviously, we're going to close at this point. Well, it's actually 5. So we've got, what, 1 more hour, let's say. I would go break even now. And then what we're going to do is actually jump down onto a 15-minute so we can actually specifically see times. Oh, for God's sakes, didn't mean to do that. Obviously, what I was going to say is I would have it up until there because we know that's the last. Where are we up to? Yeah, 55. So we'd have probably closed at about a break even on this setup. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're nearly a 2R there. We'd have closed at about 0.45. Let's just say 0.45. 0.45R on this trade. So that's 0.45. Where were we at? Let's quickly journal this. We are in Friday, the 13th of June at 8 a.m. New York time. Let's quickly add June. Friday the 13th as well. Friday the 13th of June. We're going to have these all the way down. New York session, long, EG, obviously, because that's all we're looking at. It would be a win. Yes, it wouldn't be a lot. Didn't hit that, so I'm not going to add that in. What we're going to add, though, is how much did it actually hit? Because, again, we do need to journal all this stuff. It got to 1.84. RR. 1R did get hit nice and easily, so we keep that journal there, keep that in the notes. And yeah, that's where we would have been at based on that trade. What I'm going to do is I ain't even going to bother journaling them all like this in here. It doesn't make any sense considering I'm making a video. So I'm just going to quickly keep flying through. Let's get rid of all this stuff on the chart. Delete. And then let's go to the daily again. We can come to, what did we put? Yeah. It was a win, technically. It was very small, but it was still a win. Yeah, so that was Friday. So again, we still have these daily levels drawn. What we can do is just pull it out. Because, to be honest, we're literally expecting price to come into it and then bounce off. I know price may go deeper, which is why we're waiting for that 1 hour confirmation. Let's get that low correct. 84921. 849. That's the wrong one. 921. And that means we need to now pull this one. High 84882. There we go. So now that FVG is correct going into Monday. I do need to make that visible. Visible all and below. Again, so now going into Monday, we can actually look for that daily level to be tagged. Okay, and on the 1 hour, look for the move. It may not happen Monday. It could happen Tuesday using a weekly profile, for example. So let's see what happens. Right, Asia. This is Monday's Asia session. London. Price comes up. New York starts to drive back down. There's nothing for us today. Let's get on this daily chart. Make sure there's been no new levels. Oh my god, this is why I don't like TradingView for backtesting. It's really crap because you've now seen the move. Anyways, so we now know that that pings off without anything. So there's no entry there. What I'm going to do is quickly check it now because obviously it looks like we're going to end up looking to try and make a new fair value gap. Yeah, which is what it does. So that can now move up to here. Because again, it doesn't have to go internal to external. So we're just literally looking for trades where it does exactly that. And then we can just enter and trade from it. Right, there we go. So now, again, same thing. We're literally just always looking for the same things over and over. We've got the daily. We just want a 1 hour move into it and then react off of the candle where it wants to go. So we're at Wednesday. Price. Asia session. And now going into London, we'd like to see a move down into that level, which would be ideal. There we go. London does it. Okay. Now, this would have been a loss. 100% I would have taken a loss here because that does exactly what I would have wanted to see. So what I'm going to do is pull that back because realistically I would have taken this. That's a loss, 100%. And I'm going to be totally transparent with it. We have taken both sides. We have to hit the daily level. I would have 100% took a trade off that there. Okay. And I would have targeted, where's that daily level? External. It's all the way up there. Okay. So I would have targeted that 100%. And like I said, there's no point lying to myself when you get wins, when you get losses. 5, 8, 5, 4, 7, 0. There's literally not. What's going on here? 8, 5, 6, 4, 1. 8, 5, 6, 4. Okay, so again, like I said, there's no point in lying about it. That would have been the external range. I would have targeted that for nearly a 5R. Okay, and as you can see, as we accidentally skip forward, price rapidly pings up by the looks of it straight away. Yeah, which would have been quite cool. You would have got a 2R trade actually, which is kind of crazy. Fucking hell, you would have got a 3R trade and you would have taken London. So you could have potentially, this needs a bit more looking at because that would have been a valid setup. Yeah, because obviously, like I said, you would have these levels targeting, you know what I mean? That would be a target because it's London and that's literally way over what I'd normally go for. That's a 2.9R. Okay, so that would be literally, that would be right. 2R would have been hit. Would you have taken a partial? This is something I need to start looking at. Obviously, look at that. So you can have liquidity target 2R. So this trade here may be an example to go back on and do a better bit of back testing on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to note that Thursday the 19th of June, 7 a.m. June 17th, we did have the daily level, New York, long, EG as usual. I'm going to just put that like that for like the next few. Oops, oh, for God's sakes. Okay, and the same with that actually because it just speeds it up. I just want to smash out as many as I can. So what I'm not going to do is put anything in. I'm going to say it's going to be a loss because we have to be realistic with it. And I probably wouldn't have taken anything off the table. I don't know at this point. This is why I really need to, really need to go over it. Right, so that's what I'm writing down there. If you didn't read it quick enough, it's literally, I'm just going to go back over that in depth and maybe go through and see the potential different outcomes I could do in terms of taking a partial at the London highs, taking a partial at 1 to 2R. It would have won if it was a 1 to 2R. So, I need to start taking that into consideration when I'm trading it. Obviously, again, we're back in that level, so we can see what happens. We are in New York. Again, I'm going to just go off the basis of candles doing exactly that, but we're in the PM session now, and that's not for me. But let's see what happens. I'm going to just draw it on. I wouldn't take it, and I'm not going to take it, but I just want to see what happens because obviously it's a massively short stop. I just want to see what happens. Right, so you just got tagged out. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so we can move forward. I mean, it's a bit crazy, but yeah, we're still. So we've still, for fuck's sakes, man, that daily is really killing me. But it's kind of cool that we've seen the move. I'm not gonna lie, because it's gonna work, which is cool and it's quite exciting as a trader. We have tagged back in. We're now on a Friday. We'd obviously be looking to go long. And yeah, it's going to be quite cool because we know that it's actually going to work because we've got the daily levels being respected. We're coming into London now. So here, what I would be doing is looking for this Asia level. I wouldn't have my stops. I'd probably have my stops here, but we'll see what happens with this next candle. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. We didn't see Asia get broke. While price rips back in as well. So, okay, what happens? Okay, both sides are taken, but we still haven't taken that Asia level, and I wouldn't trade without it. Right, okay, the Asia level's taken. Need some sort of candle confirmation. Wow, ripped lower. Okay, closed above. Now, what I would do, off of my experience, is the fact that we've taken this low and we've swept liquidity from the previous day. So we can just put this on here. What I need to do is move the liquidity sweep thing into the middle because it actually annoys me. I'm not sure why I did that. A lot of these have been used from years ago, so let's just quickly save that again. Liquidity sweep, middle, boom, boom, boom. Right, so we've had a liquidity sweep, and this 1 hour here at 9 a.m. has closed above the high. Normally, if a candle closes above the high, from what I know, we intend to follow. Okay, so what I would do then is enter off the next candle and put my stops below the low. Now, also, what I'm going to have a look at is obviously we've got this external range, which is just under a 1 to, because of how big the stop is, it's just under a 1 to 2. So what I'm going to do is on a 15-minute, we've obviously, or 15 or a 5, we would have had a market structure shift, which is what you see here. We have this inversion fair value gap. Go to a 5-minute. So this is how ordinarily I would trade this. So I'd wait for that market structure shift. I would stay on that 15-minute because it's cleaner. I'm going to just literally go with it like that for now because I genuinely ain't sure if you would get an entry. And let's see. So on the 1 hour, we would hypothetically enter off this next 1 hour candle. In my head, on the 15-minute, we're going to have an open low. So I would look for this candle here to go lower, yeah, which it does. Potentially, what I would look for is an inversion, but we've now created this 15-minute fair value gap. So I would most likely, because the RR was crap on the 1 hour, I'd go like this now. And as you can see, we're just over 2R. So that's exactly the trade I would have taken. We tag in and price runs up. And I genuinely didn't know that that was going to happen, obviously, until I seen it when we flicked onto the daily. But that would be an A plus setup. We even had the lower time frame because we had this 15-minute as well. But obviously, let's see that entry just off of that 1 hour as well does exactly the same thing, just less RR. So we could get a 1 point. What was it? We can get, and we're going to need to note this, we can get a 1.85 RR. What's the trade? What's the day? We are in New York session on Friday, the 20th of June. June 20th, New York, long, EG, win. We did hit 2R. And then we did get, no, so we got over 2R, didn't we? On the 15-minute. So we got 2.24R. And again, I'll need to go into depth here, 2.24R. And what I'm going to do is make a note here. Okay, comment. Right. So 15-minute entry based on liquidity sweep and market structure plus displacement. We got a 2.24 RR trade. Okay, that's nice. And then what I need to go forward and do, 1 hour entry off new candle open. We've got a 1.85 RR trade. So again, not too much difference, but in general, yeah. I've missed a lot of trades by jumping down the time frames. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So yeah. Again, another nice trade, another nice win. Literally really clean from the daily, internal to external. As you can see, internal to external, really clean. We can just delete them drawings, go up to the new day, and just continue on looking for internal to external. So let's move price on. This is a Monday. Again, there may be gaps now because obviously we are trading based on just trading these gaps. Now this is where I need to backtest, okay, because this is where I'm unsure whether it will work. So we have this daily level. Let's put that down. Again, we could take it, and I'm going to take it for the sake of backtesting, but ordinarily I probably wouldn't trade this, but let's see. So again, we are coming into the new day, which is now on a Wednesday. Asia. I now want to see London ping up and hit into the level. New York does it instead. Okay, so what happens? New York actually does what we would like to see. Daily level gets tagged, and what I would then do, again, we close below the high after tagging a daily internal level, which means our 1 hour liquidity is swept all of this. I don't expect this high to be taken again. I would have entered there, stops above that high there, and obviously targeting, I can't even pull it up because I forgot to add it. But I know that this is the day that it gets made, so my external range, that's annoying. I don't want to see it play out, so let's put it back to Wednesday at 4 because I know then on the daily it won't be drawn out. So my external range would be Wednesday's low, which is what I kind of thought anyways, but didn't want to guess. I just wanted to make sure it's right. Backtesting is important to get the correct data. Low 5121. 21. Okay, there we go. Boom. Jump back onto that 1 hour. We do need to just quickly ping back forward to that time. Plays out through London. Right, there you go. The New York session. Bam. That's the entry. We just took it off that open. Again, as we know, you could just take it off the wick because I'm assuming on the 15 or 5 you had a market structure shift. 15-minute we didn't. 5-minute we also didn't, and this we would have probably saved ourselves all this, but we have tagged an FEG, and this is what I mean why I'm just going on the 1 hour. I just don't want the noise anymore. I just prefer to just get something that's a lot more simple. I know it might take longer to hit targets, but I'm happy with that. So yeah, again, looking at this, just expecting price to continue, to be honest. I don't really see why it wouldn't at this point. We've got this level, this all been taken, this liquidity as well. And the highs are in a really nice spot. Let's get to our level drawn up. This would literally just be quite a nice bread and butter trade because I like 2-hour setups. I'm pretty confident in 2-hour setups, knowing that price can get there. I'd have to build my confidence up with the bigger risk to rewards. That's why I'm journaling it the way I am. So yeah, pushing forward, price comes back on itself. I don't know why I was being so slow. And then there you go. So that trade actually hit again, and that was a 2.33, and 2R as well also got hit. That trade was on Thursday, the 26th of June. And like I said, I don't just trade one pair, so it doesn't really matter. Obviously, the data is only for this trade, for this pair, but it will work everywhere. 26th of June, and it was 8 a.m. So that was New York. Damn, I really should have been putting the times in. Oh well. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. Should have put the times. I'm going to put it from now on as a comment. That's annoying. I've got this video. I have to go back and do it. Normally I have an actual thing here, but it's an old one. So, oh well. When I go more further back testing, I'll use my updated journal. What did we get? We got a 2.33R. So what I'm trying to work out as well is how much of these little points actually matter. We need to put -1 here. So right now we'd be up 11R. That's crazy, and that's in basically a month, isn't it? Just over a month. No, 2 months, because I don't know, nothing really happened in May, but this month here, just in June, has been fucking wild. Look, 4R, not so bad. And literally lots of winning trades back to back as well. I've probably got about 15 minutes left to do some more. Let's completely wipe that off. Continue on. So that did work, that internal to external, which we can see here, internal to external. And then just crack on and carry on and just keep looking for daily levels to actually trade. Friday as well was what I've not been doing actually. Thursday the 26th of June 2025. I haven't actually been putting the dates either. That's why my other journal was there. I should have just stuck with it. Oh well. I have to do it like this. I'm gonna have to go back, and when I watch this over, I'll put them in. 26th June. Yeah, I need to do this for every trade because you need to know that data really. But this is just literally just to see if this works, and it does. So you can do proper back testing. Right, okay, so here we are on again. We always seem to be at the end of the week, which is quite cool. But let's see. Daily. Lows 86062. 86062. Yep. And then we can literally just look to go to the 1 hour. I'm going to come into Friday and look for a trade. Yeah, I do like it. It's relatively simple, to be honest. It's just daily internal to external. Like I said, I'm normally quite good at actually getting the daily and the weekly timeframes correct. So it's more just my entries that are killing me. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. So let's see. We come in on Asia there. I would like to see something in London though. Technically speaking, that's a new day. So it has tagged it. So what we've done here is actually what I wanted to test, funny enough. We have engulfed both sides and gone bullish. So we could enter, and this is where it's going to be quite cool to see as well, because I don't know how this plays. What we would do is go below that low on 1. I'm going to have 2 examples here. Obviously, the external is way up there. And again, you have loads and loads and loads of levels in between that we could target. This swing, this Asia high, you know what I mean? So, but we're gonna, again, for the sake of it, we're going that there. It's one entry, and then what I'm going to do as well is pull another entry with the same level entrance and put my stops below the current day's low. See how that plays out. Again, luckily I'm recording the video, so I can go over all this, which is quite cool. And yeah, that's going to be the 2. Let's see how this plays. Price comes off, rapidly goes up, and that'd be way over 2R, wouldn't it, at this point? Yeah. So again, let's get that drawn on. Both trades would be fine. So both worked, which is cool. And what I need to do as well is I didn't need all of that stop. Do you know what I mean? This is why it's good to backtest. So let's pull that back up. I didn't need all of that stop loss. And we look at this next point of interest, which is here, this swing point. Again, we'll look at liquidity target there. We'll put the Asia high one on as well, because again, it's another swing. And we'll target, I mean, I probably wouldn't even bother with that one, to be honest, because the external range is so close. And let's see. So obviously, you'd probably be break even at this point, to be honest. There's no need to be running the trade all the way. And yeah, all right, okay, let's pull that back a tad, because I didn't realize it was a Friday. Well, I did, I just forgot. Let's pull that back to that candle. So we would have closed at about 2R on both entries. We didn't need that major stop because the liquidity has been taken. So it was literally pointless having a massive stop like that. We knew that if this level goes, we could even re-enter. So, but again, based on, which is what I was watching this morning and why I'm actually doing all of this back testing, this is the engulfing candle. We took the high and we took the low, and we closed back in the range, expecting price to then go to the overall higher time frame draw, which was all the way up here. Being a Friday, you would go for your littler targets. You got your 2R. We had this target up here, which it didn't reach, really, really close. But look, you're talking about it took out previous New York AM as well, funny enough, and left relative equal highs. Look, high 86376, high 86374. So literally took it out to a T. Being a Friday at that time, you could even close there. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's literally peak time. Once you see this reversal, you could have had your trailing stops way up at 2R, which would have got taken. So that's exactly what I would have done. Yeah, and that would have been a nice 4R. It's crazy, actually, the returns I'm seeing on this so far. Yeah, so that would have been a nice. We're going to put 2R because that's what I would have taken. That trade is on Friday, the 4th of July at 3 a.m. Again, you're noticing the same times. We're in July now, and it's always going to be in them golden times because price gets the most influx of orders and everything comes in at them sort of times during London and New York. That's why we trade them times. So that was also, was it 4th of July? Then bank holiday in America as well, which is crazy. 4th of July at 3 a.m. That perfect time. Literally always since I very first started trading, I've looked at that sort of time as well. Hits 2R. We're going to put a note that we did actually hit 4.76R, so that we know. Take New York AM high, and also left relative equal highs. Yeah, so there we go. Nice, easy for the journal. At the end of the day, we're smashing through trades, and literally the percentages are nuts. The returns, like, you'd be up 13% here, like, and even just in this little piece of price action, you're up. You've only had one loss. It's crazy, literally crazy. And I'm gonna probably look for one more and then be done on this video. Let's jump up to that daily and look for one more. See if we can end it on a win. In fact, that still hasn't even taken external range. So what we can do is still look for it, because we're going into Monday. That's your external level. and we could just look for a continuation. The internal's not been disrespected, so that's still valid, in fact. And I would trade it because yeah, it's valid. And the move hasn't actually happened, so there's no point flicking through and looking for a new setup when this one's still there. Let's pull. Literally, we didn't really need to delete much at all. So now that the move's actually in play, going into Monday, we'll just look for session liquidity to be taken because we don't expect this low to be raided now anyways. So we'll look for a 1 hour session liquidity in London, which will be that Asia low because we're bullish. Okay, that happens. Price is coming back down. We tag back into it. Now we want to see some sort of move. Nope, that's not a sign for entry. That could be at 10 a.m. Okay, and I'll take it for the example in the journal. Again, we swept it. We swept the previous week's low as well, which is really nice. Closed back below the recent swing point and this swing point, and we've closed above the previous hour. Let's take this and see what happens. Again, this is relatively a ballsy trade considering it's a Monday and we may not even have put in the low of the week yet. Again, this is the whole point about journaling. And yeah, let's see how this plays out. There you go, taken out straight away. Okay, so that's fine. -1R on the 7th of July. Because that one was so quick, we can probably squeeze in another one. New York, was it New York? Yeah, New York. It was late in New York, so that's kind of long loss -1, -1. And that was on Monday. Let's put that in. Monday, 7th July 2025, 10 or 11 a.m., which would be the literal latest I would have entered anyway. So, bit of a good note there for future to probably not, because that's 11. It's starting to get a bit late in the session. I won't enter during New York PM, so we'll see how this day plays. What I want to do is close that there because I don't want the new day to play out. Okay, so we're still in this range. We could have potentially put in the low for the week now, because obviously Monday puts in the low. Tuesday may put in a new low. As long as this level doesn't get disrespected on the Tuesday, we can still look for moves. So this is still valid. Asia pumps up, coming into London. And again, what we're looking for, we just want some sort of liquidity sweep. We go for this Asia low during London. And again, I would then have this low as my area where I wouldn't expect to get disrespected. Let's wait for that candle close as, right, there we go. So we get a bullish candle close inside this fair value gap. That there is enough to instigate for me at 3 a.m., which is the time I want to trade. Again, for journaling's sake, I'm going to pull 2 positions so I know when I'm going back over this video, because this is what I'm going to have to do because I haven't journaled it properly, like exactly how I want to, because I'm flicking through. Would we go below this daily low or would we go here? Probably give it that and let's see what happens. Again, do you know what we're going to do? We're actually going to pull all 3 because what I would like to know is where the best place to have a stop is. Okay, so we got a 2.76R, and that's below the new week's low. We've got this 3.39R, which is below Monday's like end of day low. Okay, so coming into Tuesday. And then we've got this below the session level. So we've had the close above this previous hour, and we're probably expecting the price to continue up. Okay, so this would be the, we're going off this setup. So if we lose on this one, we'll put -1R, and then we'll just journal the rest. Price starts to go higher, really rockets higher. Wow, really clean. Again, to our level here is relatively simple to put in. Liquidity target. What I'm going to do is, before I continue to backtest this later on, I'm going to mark up some of these, like save these, so that I can just really smash through. 2R's been taken. again, we're in the start of the week, so we could really run this. You know, like we're on Tuesday, we're expecting price to continue higher all week and go for that daily external range. Have we taken out, once we take this London high, which left relative equal highs now going into New York, which is not a coincidence. Price comes in, and I would probably expect off of this, you could scale up for a new position long. Price comes back down. Now into the next day. Okay, so you would have gone break even 100% because I wouldn't have held it overnight. So we're going to take that as a break even trade. To our hit again. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a break even trade because that's what it was, because we're not closing it to our in these circumstances. Tuesday the 8th of July 2025. But again, to our absolutely smashed out the park. What was the time? Was it London? It was the 3 a.m. candle. Yeah, Tuesday 8th of July. Long London. We're going to put break even, but we are going to note that it did hit 2R. No, we're not going to put anything there. We're going to put 0. What we're going to put in here, trade hit 2R. What did it actually get up to? 3.7 RR highest point. Again, these are things that we're going to need to go back over and test because we don't know where the actual ceiling is for the RR. Obviously, is it external range or is it a certain target number? Yeah, and that's going to have that there. What was it? A Tuesday, the 8th. Okay, so that's me done there. And off of that, I'm going to call it on this. I want to see what happens, but so again, we've gone in. This is now, we've put in a low on the Monday, which is a bit unique. And boom, actually, you're going to see the external range taken. Cool. So external range did get taken, and all of the trades survived apart from one, the original one, which was based on the session, but which is quite a cool thing to see, because if you wanted to, then you could have ran this trade as more of a scalp, more of a swing trade. You would have closed here, I'm not going to lie, because I wouldn't have held over the weekend. So if you was swinging it, you would have definitely got, what do we have got here? You'd have got a 2.5 AR on the swing, or around about a 3.17. So yeah, we're going to note that as well. What did it hit? Hit 2.58. And would have closed. Trade with stops below the. Why did I have my stops below that one? Below the most recent swing point, other than the session, I'm going to put. And that hit for 3.17. Right, and that's it. I'm going to call it on that video right there.